Ang mga readings natin ngayong gabi ay tungkol sa pag-asa. They are about hope. And they contain a message that we need to hear, especially when we are confronted by too many challenges ahead of us and we are tempted to give up, natutuksong sumuko. How does a good project get destroyed? Well, in the same way that it was begun, from inside, in your mind, in your heart, in your imagination, because that is where we usually start building, di ba? In our dreams. Well, St. Paul says it very well in today's first reading. Sabi niya, hope that sees for itself is not hope. For who hopes for what one already sees? Hope is about an inner light na parang nasisindihan kapag biglang dumilim. It's a bit like the emergency lamps na sumisindi sa mga bahay natin kapag biglang nag-brown out. Well, presuming of course na naka-charge yung emergency light. Hope is like a fully charged imagination that enables us to see what is yet invisible. It is our imagination that makes it visible sa loob-loob natin. There, inside us, it germinates, lumalaki, tumutubo slowly like a mustard seed. It is rising silently like a mass of dough that has been mixed with a little bit of levadura, a little bit of yeast, which our gospel today is speaking about. Ang feeling ko lang, parang ganito rin ang kasalukuyang nagaganap sa ating bansa. I have a feeling it's exactly the same thing that is happening in our country as we are preparing for the coming election. There is something happening that seemed almost impossible to many people just a few months ago. But then, you see, God has a different way of making things happen. This is actually the continuation of Romans 8, which we will read again tomorrow in verse 28 of that chapter. Na babasahin natin bukas, St. Paul will say, we know that all things work for the good of those who love God, who are called according to His purpose. Parang meron siyang a tone of certainty. Walang pagdududa. St. Paul speaks with that certainty, even when what he's speaking about is not even visible yet. And he is right. Sabi niya, if we hope for what we do not see, we wait with endurance. If we hope for what we do not see, we wait with endurance. Romans 8, verse 25. Therefore, he speaks about the basic virtue that people of hope are endowed with. Ang mga taong tunay na umaasa, they are endowed with patience. Patience. Their ability to hold on to their dreams and visions even while these are yet in the imagination. The tenacity to see them to their completion. Sabi ni St. Paul, in hope we are saved. Romans 8:24. Salvation is not possible in one who does not have the patience to hope. Ibig mong maligtas? Well, matuto kang magtiyagang umasa. In Tagalog, kasabihan natin, huwag kang masisiraan ng loob. Don't allow your dreams to collapse inside you. Kasi, pag sira na yung loob mo, sira na rin lahat sa labas mo. Why? Because there is no way you can build them outside if you have not kept your dreams intact inside. Sabi ni Albert Einstein, imagination is more important than knowledge. Mas mahalagang di hamak ang imahinasyon kesa kaalaman. He believes that compared to knowledge, which is very limited, imagination is unlimited. It is limitless. Sabi niya, imagination encircles the world. And that is how it begins. When an architect builds a house, by first putting it all together in his mind and visualizing it on a blueprint. Or quite like a mason who is doing stonework, who does not say, when he is asked what he's doing, he doesn't say, I am putting a stone on top of a stone. Rather, he says, I am building a cathedral. Yon ang tunay na builders. They have vision. That is also how you build a nation. That is how you build a more humane, a more peaceful, a more equitable society. That is how you build a civilization. It is how you build anything at all that is worth building, period. And it is also how we take part in building the kingdom of God. Ang kabaligtaran ng hope in English is despair. And despair is the experience of caving in, of finding yourself in a kind of a no way out situation, or feeling like you are falling apart or breaking into pieces. But actually, it is a temptation. The evil one wants you to believe that it is pointless. Walang saysay daw. It is pointless to even dream or hope because the odds are too great. Ganyan ang demonyo eh. So, pinalalaki niya ang problema para hindi ka na magsumikap, para hindi ka na umasa. Sasabihin niyang walang saysay. You haven't even tried yet, talo ka na. It wants to give up, or he wants you to give up before you even give it a try. The devil is very good at that. Diyan siya magaling. He will destroy a good project by discouraging, by disheartening the builders. Hope is like that movement that the mother begins to feel inside her womb. Again, as mentioned by St. Paul, ang tawag doon, labor pains, di ba? And I can only imagine ang isang first-time mother, a woman who's giving birth, nanganganay, nanganganak for the first time. I imagine what she feels when she begins to experience the movement of the labor pains. They must be scary and painful. But it is a movement that leads to a birthing. Imagine a mother who gets terrified by this movement and who is so overcome by fear so that she thinks that she is dying. Parang naunahan ng nervyos, when she's actually bringing forth a new life. I remember my sister when she was pregnant with her first child. Tanong ba naman niya sa nanay ko, na nanganak ng 13 times kasi 13 kami magkakapatid. Sabi niya sa nanay ko, Nay, kaya ko kayang ilabas ito? And my mother said, ay nako, alam niyang pumasok, alam niyang lumabas. Parang ganun lang kadali. Hope refocuses us from ourselves to that which is in the process of birthing. The one who hopes, instead of resisting, will learn to synchronize with the rhythmic waves of the labor pains, like the woman who is groaning, patiently assisting her child's passage, gradual passage into the world. Patience is the key word for hope. Gusto mong magkaroon ng pag-asa, matuto kang magtiyaga. In the famous movie on the life of Saint Francis of Assisi, entitled Brother Sun, Sister Moon, merong eksena doon where Saint Francis, with the help of his friends, is rebuilding a church that has fallen in ruins. And he's building with almost nothing. Namumulot lang siya ng mga bato-bato. And he begins to sing. At yung kanyang kanta, ganitong lyrics, "If you want your dream to be, take your time. Go slowly. Day by day, stone by stone, build your secret slowly."